Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Urvashi. I work as a professional trainer and I provide trainings in front-end development technologies, that is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, JS and Redux. So welcome to the very first video of Let's Crack It with Urvashi. So today I'm starting with JavaScript course, and so this is going to be Let's Crack It with Urvashi JavaScript 1 video. And today we are starting with very basics with JavaScript, that is what is JavaScript, why JavaScript, and how we can display data in JavaScript. Whenever we start learning any new technology, I personally feel that the history, that why that thing has been introduced, is very important. I know that is a bit theoretical, but that will give you a lot of idea, that will give you a motivation why you are learning this. So let's get to the video. Hello everyone, in today's video we are going to see the introduction to JavaScript, the language history and the basics of JavaScript. So firstly, we are going to start with what is JavaScript. So JavaScript is an interactive glue between HTML and CSS. As we know, the basic technologies of front-end development are HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So HTML is used to structure our website and CSS is used to style your website. The same way, we need JavaScript as the programming language of the web, which will allow you to add the dynamic and interactive nature to your website. So when I say dynamic, basically means your website is not static. That means data on the website is keep on changing. For example, if you have a Facebook account, if you want to change your name, if you want to change your profile picture, your cover photo, you are able to do that because of JavaScript, because that is a dynamic nature which allows user to update data in the website. And interactive basically means you are able to interact with the website. For example, if you see any e-commerce website, you are not physically buying something from there, but virtually you are definitely buying. For example, from Amazon, you are firstly interacting with the website and then website database is interacting with the business. So basically you are not physically going and buying, let's say, some clothes there, but through the website you're buying something. So being a user, you're able to interact with the website. So user are the people who are using the website, who are the basically the target audience of the application of the business. So this is what JavaScript allows us to do us with the website, that is dynamic and interactive nature. And if I have to take a very real-time example, we can consider something like, let's say, a human being. So you have a human being structure in front of you, like you have eyes, head, legs, arms. So that is the HTML part. So this is exactly what HTML do to your website, that is the structuring. Now the person has got good personality, the person has got good facial features or have put on makeup. So that is the CSS part. That is what CSS do to your website. That is how attractive, how beautiful, how stylish your website is. And then comes the JavaScript. So let's say person is walking, eating, speaking. That is a lively nature of a person. That is exactly what JavaScript do to your website. It actually add a live to your website. That is the reason you are able to see the dynamic and interactive nature of your website. So this is how we can define HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and majorly JavaScript, this is what it do to a website. And definitely it is the only programming language that a browser can understand. And all your advanced UI technologies or your backend UI technology, all your advanced UI technologies or your advanced backend technologies like React.js, Express.js, Node.js written over the top of JavaScript. So you have advanced UI technologies like React.js, Vue.js, Angular.js. Now we have advanced backend technologies like Express.js, Node.js, all are written over the top of JavaScript. When I say written over the top of JavaScript, basically means they all use JavaScript concept. So that means if you know JavaScript, that means you can work with all these advanced UI and backend technologies as well. As I said, JavaScript adds the dynamic and interactive nature to your website. Definitely you can change HTML content, HTML attributes, elements, HTML styles of your website. And without JavaScript, there would be no games, no dynamic HTML forms, no interactive maps, no Gmail, no YouTube, no Netflix. So all these things are working because of JavaScript. So this is the overview what JavaScript is. Next comes the history. So definitely whenever we start learning any new language, we should know the history of that language. Either it's C++, it's Java, it's JavaScript, it's HTML, it's CSS, because the history actually defines the reason that language is created. So definitely we should know the history of that language. JavaScript was created by Brendan Eich in 1995. So if you calculate from now, so around 28 or 29 years back, your JavaScript was introduced. So towards the end of 1996, he standardized it as ECMA. So there's a company called ECMA. They standardized it as ECMAScript. So if someone says ECMAScript or if someone says JavaScript, it's the same meaning. And this is a very important question, that it's Java or JavaScript, because people generally get confused between both languages. Java is a different programming language, that is a programming language for softwares. Java is a different programming language, and JavaScript is a different programming language specifically for the web. So basically, when Brendan X started working at a lab at Netscape, he started working on this language Java. He tried to use Java in the browser, which didn't came out to be a good result. So then he came up with the idea of this JavaScript. Then he started working with JavaScript in the browser. So this is how initially Java was used, but it was not a good idea to use Java in browser. So that is the reason JavaScript came. So never confuse Java with JavaScript. They are both separate programming languages, and definitely we are going to work with JavaScript. So this is the history of JavaScript. This is the reason it was created. That is the reason we call it the only programming language of the web. And then next question comes, how your JavaScript is running in your browser. We have seen since our childhood that our computer cannot understand the language English. And we write everything in the form of digits, special characters, numbers, or alphabets. So that is the reason we have this engine and runtime which allows you to run JavaScript in the browser. So you don't have to do any plugin or anything in your browser. It is already running in your computer. So wherever you have web browser, that means your JavaScript is running there. And on your computer, your tablet, your smartphone, wherever you can see the web browser, your MacBooks, basically your JavaScript is running. And every browser has its own JavaScript runtime and engine. That means Google Chrome has V8 engine, which allows you to run JavaScript in the browser. SpiderMonkey is the JavaScript runtime engine, which is for the Mozilla Firefox. That means every browser has its own engine which allows to run JavaScript. As I said, our computer doesn't understand the language English. Definitely, whatever the code we are going to write, it is going to be in the form of symbols, English language. So you need something to be converted into something your browser can understand. So that is the reason we need these JavaScript runtime engines there. And every browser has its own. These are the few examples that you guys can see. Till now, we are very much aware what JavaScript is, why we need JavaScript, how JavaScript is running. And this is very important question, especially with the interview point of view, that how your JavaScript is running in the web browsers. Now, the next question comes, where we are going to write our JavaScript. Definitely, there are so many text editors that we can use. We can use Visual Studio Code, we can use Online Editor, we can use Atom, we can use Bracket. And in real time, Visual Studio Code is used the most. So let's see its installation process. Now to install Visual Studio Code, just write Visual Studio Code download here and click on the first link. If you are using Windows, click on this. If you are using Linux, click on these. Or if you are using Mac, then click on this. So according to whatever your laptop is, it is definitely going to install on its own. So like I am using Windows, simply I will click on this. I already have a setup here, so you just have to do setup. In setup, you just have to click next, and automatically your Visual Studio Code will be installed in your systems. Once your Visual Studio Code is installed, let's see where we can include our JavaScript code. Let's go to the Visual Studio Code. So here I have HTML file. Here I have created a new folder, that is include.js, and here I have included a new file, that is index.html. And definitely, if you guys are learning JavaScript, you guys must be aware how to create at least the basic document structure of the HTML file. So here I have doc type, HTML, head, meta, title, and body over here. So now we are going to see where we can include our JavaScript code. So there are three ways we can include our JavaScript code. Let me add a heading over here. Let's say include JS. So here I have three ways I can add my JavaScript code. First way is in the body over here. So just add script tag over here. So this is a place we can add a JavaScript code like this. So this is our first place. Now to see my JavaScript is running or not, I'm just adding an alert message, that is hello world. Definitely what alert messages we'll study in detail. We'll study in detail in future videos. For now, it's just a message we want to show. Let's say alert hello world. So I will simply save this file. Now we are going to go to our folder where we have saved this file. So this is the place I have saved my file. So simply I will double click on this. And here you can see alert message, that is hello world. That means my JavaScript code has been included inside my HTML over here. So this is the first way we can include our JavaScript code. Next step is here inside this head over here. Inside this head we can include this with the same script tag. So I will just going to comment this, and comment basically means, so simply select the part, just click Ctrl plus K plus C. So this will add the comments. So the idea of using comment is this will restrict the part that goes inside your UI basically. So basically the part which is commented, that will not be displayed on the UI, that will not be executed inside your browser. So this is what comments helps us for let's say adding the extra information about a particular line of a code. At that time we can use comment, or to comment any line. So next step is we are adding a JavaScript over here. So here I will just say alert. Same message I am alerting over here as well. Let's say hello world. Simply I will save it. Now to see this, just refresh your page, and here I can see hello world. That means this is also the correct usage of including my JavaScript code over here. A third way, which is definitely going to be used the most, is the including an external file. So simply right click here, new file, and just say include.js. Now you can keep any name. I'm just keeping include.js because it is a very relevant name over here. So here also I'll just comment this part. Now come to this file. Whatever you guys write inside this block over here in this script, write just that part. Don't include script tags inside this JavaScript file, because here purely we write JavaScript and you always save it with .js extension. So here I'm just going to write alert of, let's say, hello world. Now this is my external file, which is a JavaScript file, and this is my different file, which is HTML. Now to make this JavaScript file work inside this HTML with HTML, you need to include this inside your HTML. This is how you include it. Inside your head, just include script tag and just provide the source. src is basically the source from where your file is coming. So that is include.js. So here you have to mention the path. Currently it's the same folder, so you can simply write the file name. That's it. Now let's go and see, and here we can see the output, that is hello world. So here that means my hello world is displaying. That means this is the third way, and it's the correct way of including my JavaScript code. Now next question comes, which is the best way. So there is no correct definition which is the correct way. It's totally depend on the requirement. If you have very less code of JavaScript, like just this one message, then you can definitely go with the same place in the same HTML file, or in real time definitely you have huge application. So we go for external JavaScript file in real time, because you have so much line of code, sometimes 400 500 line of code for just one HTML file. So that is the reason at that time we go for external JavaScript file. So you guys can go for any way. These are the way we can include our JavaScript inside our HTML and run our JavaScript inside our browser like this. Now the next thing comes, how we can display our JavaScript code. Definitely till now we have seen how to include our JavaScript code, but next thing comes, how many ways are there we can display our JavaScript code. The very first way to display JavaScript is through inner HTML. That means inner HTML defines the content of your HTML element. The next way is document.try. That is basically used for writing something inside your UI only. Then through the alert box, that I've already shown you guys in where to include JavaScript code. Then the last thing comes inside our browser, that is console.log. And the third place is browser console, that is console.log. So we are going to see all of them one by one. So let's go to our Visual Studio Code. So here I have created a new folder, that is display.js, and display.js has the new file that is index.html. Now in this index.html, I have this code of, now in this index.html, I have this HTML code. Now simply I'm going to write a title, let's say display.js. Now I'm going to create a new file that is going to be my JavaScript file. So let's name it display.js. And team, this is very important that you name it display.js. .js is the extension that defines that it's a JavaScript file. So now I have two separate files. One is HTML, one is JavaScript, and we know how to include this JavaScript inside our HTML by using script tag. So here I'm just going to include src is equal to source, that is going to be my display.js. Now I can write any code over here. So simply we are going to start with alert. Alert we've already seen. Let's say hello world, or we can do one more thing over here. We can write it as windows.alert or alert. It's the same meaning. In future videos you will understand what this window over here, but for now just understand if it's window.alert or you write alerts, it's the same meaning. Now we are going to run this in our browser. So here we can see the hello world, that means it is displayed there. This is the first way we can display our code, JavaScript code. The second way is going to be the console.log. Now console.log is going to be display the content inside the browser console. Now next question comes, where is my browser console? So simply right click here, go to inspect. So here you have this panel, elements, console, sources. So basically in console you will see this display data over here. So you have this much of tabs over here. In that you just have to see console. So console you will see. So whatever, especially this console is used while debugging your code. So definitely we have a dedicated lecture how we can debug our JavaScript code. So there you will see in detail this console.log helps in debugging our code. So this is not the part of UI. So from here you can see this is not the part of UI. That means a user can never going to be, that user is never going to come here and see this console part. Everything that you write inside the UI is the place where user can see the data. So display data is just the place for the developers for debugging your code. The third way we can write is document.write. Now document.write, let's add some content. Let's say we are learning JavaScript. Yeah, so let's say we are learning JavaScript. So this is used for testing purpose. So let's see this where we can see the output. So if I refresh, you will see the output here. We are learning JavaScript. Now this is the part of UI, but this is used for testing purpose. That means before actually displaying data on the UI, sometimes you just want to see how your UI is going to look if I add some data here. So that time you can use it, but we generally don't actually write it during actually writing the final code, that is a production code. We write it just during the testing purposes. So this is used for testing purposes. This is used for debugging. And this is for alerting the message. This is just a alerting message. Now next question comes, where we are actually going to write a real code. That means how we are going to write a real code which a user can see. So that is something we can write in here as well, so that you guys will be familiar that we just don't write our code in external, we can write in the inside our HTML as well. So here I'm going to include that part. So just include the script tags. Here I'm including a p tag. Now I'll tell you guys why we need this p tag. Let's say id is equal to hello. So I'm just adding, let's say id is equal to display. I think you guys know what this id is. So this id is nothing but an attribute that I have assigned to this p tag over here. In this script, just write document dot get element by id, pass the id name which is going to be display,
Now this ID name is something that I have already given. So this basically means this display IDs, that means I'm talking about this P element over here. Dot inner HTML. Dot inner HTML actually define the content. That means what content you want to see there. Let's say display. So here inner HTML define the content of HTML element. So that means I'm going to define the content. That means content is something which comes inside this closing and opening tag. That is what displayed on the UI. Let's say if I include something like heading 1. Let's say I include something like heading 1. Let's say display JavaScript. Right? So this is how you are going to see this. Display JavaScript. So this is what defining the content. This is exactly what I'm doing from this, that I'm defining the content of HTML element through JavaScript. So this is also important question which is generally asked, that how can you define a content, the similar content of an element through JavaScript. So this is how we can do document.get element by ID. This include the ID. So you are saying document, from this document get the element which has the ID, this, that is display. Dot inner HTML is just defining the content which will go inside this HTML element. In our case, if the element is p tag, is equal to what right side is what content will go there. So I have written display. Let me add something else as well. Let's say data. So you will see display data here like this. So these are the ways we can display our code. Definitely the last one is the real place where we actually show data to the UI, that we show data inside the UI to the user. The rest of the ways are majorly for the testing team and the development team. So these are the way we can display our JavaScript code.
Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share my channel. Do share it with your friends, family, aspiring developers and any working professional who want to hone their skills in front-end development. And do check out my interview preparation material